Hi, welcome to NSDEE's Configure Tools and Connections video. NSDEE requires tools such as cross-compilers, Cygwin to build local projects. It needs preprocessors for building SQLMX application. We also need connection to a remote non-stop server while transferring a file, or even deploying or launching an application for an SQL build. Let's look at the two tools that support in setting up this information on NSDEE. Firstly, let's look at the configure tools. Configure tool is needed for setting up the cross compilers and make tools. To invoke this tool, go to Nonstop Tools, select Configure Tools Locations menu item under it. The Configure Tools, also known as Tools Location window, has opened. You can also access this tool from Windows Preferences. You can see that this tool has three tabs. The tab that is open now is the Cross Compiler tab. This is the SQLMX preprocessor tab. This is the Make Tools tab. Here you can configure Cygwin and MSys tools. Now let's get back to the Cross Compiler tab. Here you can see that against each of the tool that is configured, the target system type, the RVU number, the location, the compilers and linkers that were found in the tool has been mentioned. At the time of NSDEE installation, the cross compilers are auto-detected if they are configured or installed in the standard location. If you would like to add more tools, then you can click on the Add button to bring up the Add dialog. This is the standard location where non-stop cross compilers are installed. Select one of the options below. The first option is to auto-detect multiple RVUs from the specified location. This can be best used when the compilers are not auto-detected or cross-compilers are not configured in the standard location. Then you can point it to the right location and use this option. The second option is to detect one single RVU at the location mentioned. The third option is to set a non-standard name for the compiler detected at the above mentioned folder. After giving the location, mention the RVU name based on the target non-stop server type. Here, I would like to configure a single RVU, so I will select the second option. Provide the location for the folder. Now click the OK button. You can see that the cross-compiler JO619 has been successfully configured. You can also use the modify option on a cross-compiler. Let's use the same cross-compiler that we just added for modifying its location. In the Modify Cross-Compiler window, you need to provide the new location where the cross-compiler is located. Now click the OK button. Now you can see that the cross-compiler has been configured pointing to the newer location. You can also delete a cross-compiler. Let's use the same cross-compiler for this operation too. You're asked for a confirmation here. You can see that the cross-compiler JO619 has been deleted. Now let's try out the auto detect feature for adding the cross compiler back into our tool. Select the auto detect option here. While using auto detection, it will also show that there are some cross compilers in those location which has already been configured in the tool. The cross compiler has again been added. Now let's move to the SQLMX preprocessor tab. SQLMX preprocessor mentions the language, the preprocessor name, and the location where it is located. The SQLMX preprocessor tab looks and behaves similar to the cross-compiler tab. It shows the cross-compilers for both C, C++, and COBOL. For COBOL, you can see multiple versions of preprocessors have been installed and you can use whichever preprocessor that you need. The same can be done for C++ preprocessors also. Here also you can add, modify or delete a SQLMX preprocessor. Let's move to the SIGWIN or MSys tab. NSDEE considers C:*SIGWIN as the standard location where SIGWIN is installed. Same applies to MSys also. If you wish to change these locations, you need to set the new location here. Now let's save the configure tool settings that we have configured and click the OK button. The cross compilers and tools such configured can be used both at project creation time and while updating the project properties. Now let's see how to add a connection using the configure connection tool. To bring up the connection configuration tool, go to non-stop tools and select configure connection under it. Configure connections tool, also known as network connections tool, helps to configure connections to a remote non-stop system using the host name and the username. To add a host name, click on the add remove button. Enter either a system name or the IP address of the system here and click on the add button. Now enter the username here. You can select one of the two protocols, SSH and SFTP or Telnet and FTP. SSH and SFTP are the default protocols for a connection in NSDE. You can also make changes to SSH and SFTP settings. This is the default SSH port, and this option is for passwordless authentication. You can provide your private key file here. Similarly, you have configuration settings for Telnet and FTP. These are the default ports for Telnet and FTP respectively. For Telnet and FTP connection, there is a save password option available. The password is encrypted before storing. You can customize your Telnet settings here. Let's select SSH SFTP protocol for our connection. You can see that this connection is not yet connected as per the status on the tool. Click on the connect button to connect to the remote server. Enter the password when prompted. The status now shows as connected. These connection configurations and its settings can be exported to a file by clicking on the export button. The advantage here is that one can share these settings across the team without having to reconfigure it each time. Provide a file name to export here. Similarly, you can import the file using import button. Accept incoming checkbox option is shown only when NSDE debugging subsystem is installed. This is useful for program initiated debugging feature. We have configured this connection successfully. If you wish, you can add more such connections to multiple non-stop servers. Once configured, we can make use of this connection for deploying a project or for launching an application for SQL build or for transferring a file or opening remote files. With this, we come to the end of this video on configure tools and configure connections. Watch out for more videos on NSDEE. Thank you.